I'm Kevin Duggan, and I'm a certified professional dog trainer. I help build positive relationships between humans and their canine companions. I do this by focusing on communication and rewarding the behaviors that we want our dogs to do. I do this because I love working with dogs and helping them fit happily into their homes. A problem that a lot of people are dealing with is when they're trying to walk their dog and their dog ends up grabbing its leash and trying to play tug with you. I've seen this with a lot of my clients, and I've also seen it a lot in shelters. So I've decided to make a video to demonstrate some different ways that I remedied this situation. Now I have Chase with me, and he's a dog that I picked up from the APL, which is located in Ravenna, Ohio, and he's actually up for adoption. Now this is the second time I've ever worked with him. And this is the first time I've actually worked on anything like this with him. So the first thing that I started to do with Chase was I started getting him to pay attention to me a little bit more and the leash a little bit less. So what I'm doing is kind of asking him to look at me, and I'm giving him some rewards for that. I'm using small food rewards. I also just threw in a sit there just as a little bit of direction. So as we're kind of trotting along there, he's grabbing the leash intermittently, and I'm trying to get him to look at me so I can reward him for that behavior. Another thing that I like to work on is showing the dog the leash and trying to teach him not to go after it. So what you're going to see here is me dangle the leash in front of him, and my goal is for him not to go after it. Now he actually does go after it, so I ask him to sit again, and then I just dangle it gently to get him not to go after it, which he does very well with, and then I reward him. In this next clip, I go back to walking around with him, and my goal now is to get Chase to take a few steps in between rewards. He's actually looking at his leash there, and he didn't go after it, which was fantastic. I'm also throwing in a sit cue here and there, but my goal is to get him to do things other than go after the leash. So I asked him to sit, reward him, then I'm dangling the leash in front of him again and rewarding him for not going after it. Another thing that can come in handy for a situation like this is a drop cue. So in this clip I'm teaching him a drop cue by putting the leash in his mouth and then cueing him to drop it, followed by dropping a treat on his face. What he ends up doing is releasing the leash from his mouth and looking to the ground for the reward that's on the ground. This clip is from the end of our training session. We did this for about 5 minutes straight, so this is toward the end of that. And in the beginning of this little clip here, he goes after the leash, and I cue him to drop it, and then I basically get him to look at me and start walking with him. And I give him a reward there for walking with me. So my goal here is to continue to increase the amount of steps that I can take in between rewards. Now, the goal with that is the more steps I can take in between rewards, the longer he's going without getting the reward. So my goal is then to keep spreading that out further and further, so ultimately I do not need the reward. Towards the end of this 5-minute training session, Chase was pretty much a different dog. He was focused on me and not even worried about the leash. Imagine what he'd be like after a couple training sessions. One thing I also recommend doing is giving the dog an appropriate outlet for this tug instinct. It's pretty instinctual and they really enjoy doing it, so get a tug toy out, do some tug with them, and practice some drop-it cues. Thanks for watching. Once again, just try to get the dog to focus on you instead and really focus on rewarding those behaviors that you like sitting, walking next to you without going after a leash. Don't forget, Chase is actually up for adoption at the Portage County APL located in Ravenna, Ohio.